Gym etiquette is probably something that you only really absorb after you've been in the gym for a while. So it seems really unfair when you're trying to learn, like, what do I do here? How do I be here? What's the, like, what's going on? It feels really unfair that you can't just like pick it up and just read, like, what is this place? What's the concept here? What do we do here? I know you know that you work out in the gym, you exercise in the gym, but we all kind of know there's like an etiquette. And so I want to explain to you what I think the gym etiquette is, and hopefully it's pretty accurate to what other people would say the gym etiquette is. I have looked a little bit online to see what other people say, but hopefully I can demystify this kind of weird, intense vibe that's going on in these gyms and make you feel a bit more comfortable. So basically that you don't wind people up in the gym. Not that you would, but yeah. So you don't piss people off in the gym, and so they don't piss you off in the gym, and we can all have a better experience. So I'm Anika. I'm a certified personal trainer. I work with people all the time, and one of the biggest reasons that my clients are not training by themselves in the gym is because they're like, yeah, I don't really know, what do I do when I'm not with you and you're not the one making the decisions and setting things up and navigating the way around the gym, asking people if equipment's free, etc. Then there's going to be some things which are a bit more niche, like whether you can use chalk or whether you can drop deadlift barbells on the floor. If you don't know what any of that means, then don't worry, because it's quite a specialised thing. So if you don't even know what that means, you're probably not even in a situation where you need to worry about it. So most of these things are just unspoken rules, right? And they're not rules as in you're going to get into trouble for it. People might be a bit like, ugh. But it's just things that make you feel a bit awkward maybe if you don't know what's going on. So let's uncover them now. So let me put this at the start. It's not really a gym etiquette thing, it's just a thing that happens in the gym, which people talk to me about all the time, and I kind of get what it is, right? It's the staring, grunting thing that people do when they're lifting. It's like, when you walk into a gym, you feel like people are like being really intense and being all like, yeah, what? Like, but basically when people are lifting really heavy weights, especially if they're using a bit of help, like on steroids and like that, you get this very, very intense reaction physically from it. It kind of unlocks this state in your body, which is like your fight or flight response, which helps you to lift the weight. It gets you amped up, it gets you ready to go. And this can be when people are feeling really, really into their training and they're really obsessed with what they're doing and all their focus is on that. So the lucky thing is, they don't care about you, they're not actually looking at you, they're probably just staring around, like listening to some intense music in their headphones, feeling really intense, and you just got in the way of their stare. So you're not doing anything wrong, but you might feel a bit freaked out if they're looking at you like that, because they're probably not even looking at you, they're probably looking through you, they don't even know you exist. So I thought I'd demystify that one a little bit, because the nice thing is they don't care about what you're doing, right? It's purely a them thing, and I get that it can feel uncomfortable, but I'm hoping that after you hear me say this, you don't take that personally and you know that they're just being really intense. I've got a pretty bad like resting face when I'm in the gym, right? So I could be looking around and I think I'm just looking at someone going, oh yeah, like I wonder what they're doing, like I wonder what setup that is, like, oh, I haven't tried that before, like yeah, maybe I'll try it that way next time, or like, oh, she's got nice leggings, like, oh, they look like, oh yeah, I need to tell them something, or like, oh, I wonder if I could help them out because maybe they look like they're struggling with something. But on the outside it looks like I'm like trying to murder them, which I'm not trying to do. People often say to me, they actually talk to me, you're quite nice. I'm like, yeah, I'm alright. So just bear that in mind if you are feeling like that in the gym. So, on the subject of gym people, how do you talk to someone in the gym? I'm assuming you're not hearing this like how to chat someone up, because the answer is don't. But if you want to know if a piece of equipment is busy, then you can just ask. Don't ask while someone's doing something, and that kind of goes for everything. Don't like talk to people while they're in the middle of doing something. So if they're actually like lifting something or whatever it is, don't like be like, hi, like trying to get in front of them, because it's just going to be annoying. They're trying to focus on what they're doing. Okay, wait till they've put the equipment back in the rack or stopped on the machine, and you can politely say like, oh hey, do you have many sets left, or how many sets do you have left, or like, do you mind if I jump in after you? If the gym is absolutely packed and it's like one after the other, a decent person should let you work in with them. So if you're training and you need to have a rest, which almost every exercise requires, then you might be able to work in while one's resting, one's working, even if you don't know each other. It's quite a normal thing. Since COVID, it's not really so common anymore because people become really socially awkward, but it should be a thing that you can do, right? Just politely say, like, oh, do you mind if I work in? Or if you're using a machine and someone says, how many sets have you got left? If you know you've got another 8 sets left, then maybe you say, oh, do you want to jump in while I'm resting? Okay? Totally normal, totally okay. Just see if you can get their attention, like with the old, like, hi thing, you know, with the take the headphones out. How many sets do you have left? Done. Same goes with personal trainers, right? If they're watching a client do an exercise, it's not the best time to go up and ask them for help or ask them how you use something or whatever, because they're probably counting the reps, they're probably watching the client, trying to see what's going on. So just wait until the client stopped and then you can open a dialogue with the trainer. If you want to actually know if a piece of equipment is being used, if there isn't someone sitting on it, and if then you're going to look for bottles or towels or, you know, people's stuff, belongings next to the machine or on the seat or whatever. If you see that, you can kind of assume that there's someone using it. If they're being really obnoxious and they're leaving it for like 20 minutes while they go and chat to someone, well, that's between you and them, but in that case, they're kind of being obnoxious and you're not in the wrong for wanting to use that machine. Generally what I'll do if I'm walking over and I'm trying to figure out if something's being used, if I feel like maybe it's being used but because there's weights on there but there isn't any stuff, I might look around a bit and kind of try and catch someone's eye to see if they're looking at the machine, or if there's people around I might say like, hey, do you know if anyone's using this? Most of the time people would tell you like yeah or no. So on that note, let's talk about equipment hogging then. So don't be doing like 10 reps and then having like a 15-minute rest, or even like a 3 or 4 minute rest, right? Most programs do not require you to have longer than 1 or 2 minutes rest. If you're using a barbell and you're doing heavy strength movements, by which I mean like less than 6 reps, you're doing 5 reps, yeah, you might need 5 minutes rest, possibly. But you don't need to be sitting on the leg extension, scrolling through your phone for like half an hour using a piece of equipment. Just be considerate of other people, right? If it's a busy gym, you can't be, well, you can be, people are going to get annoyed with you. You can't be using equipment like from one end of the gym to the other end of the gym and then coming back and expecting it to still be free. You can't be taking up like 18 dumbbells at the same time and doing like 1, 2, 3, like all these different sets with the same dumbbells. Again, you can, no one's going to probably stop you, but if you want to avoid annoying people in the gym, then just consider that. So, you know, 1 or 2 pieces of equipment that are free weights, 1 machine, you know, perhaps at a quiet time you can get away with it because no one wants to use the machine, right? I'll do the same when I'm PTing. I do supersets, which is like when you use 1 piece of equipment and then you use another. If it's not busy, I'll obviously go between the one and the both. If I know that someone comes along and wants to use that piece of equipment, then I'll let them use it because I don't want to stop them from working out, and I want to uphold the image that I actually care about people and I'm not trying to get in their way and make a nuisance of it when I'm not using both bits of equipment. If you're finding that you're constantly being asked to move or constantly being asked to share equipment, or people are looking like irritated with you, you might want to change the way you're training potentially if you're using more than one thing all the time and you're in a busy gym. There is a case of like sort of not bullying but kind of people picking on newer people and knowing that they can bully you off equipment. If you feel like that's the case and you literally have done nothing wrong, then stand your ground. I know it can be scary, but people have no right to be pushing you off equipment or making you feel like you need to be quicker if you're doing something and you're learning and you're just taking time on a piece of equipment. You're allowed to work out the same as they are, even if they're more experienced, or you feel like for some reason it's more justified that they're working out. It's not. You're all allowed to be there, we're all allowed to be there, and we're all allowed to take the time we need to use the equipment that we want to use. So let's talk spatial awareness then. It's kind of just like in normal life, or like when you're standing at a bus stop or something. Like, you don't want to be like right close to someone's face, right? You're not going to be like you're not going to be really close to someone like breathing down their neck, right? It's not normal in the rest of life, it's not normal in the gym, just be aware of it. Gyms can get really busy, so I understand that it can be hard to find your own space. Just be mindful of things like if people are doing a certain exercise and they're like, let's say they're doing an exercise where their like torso hangs off the top of the bench, you might give them more space because you know they need to use it, or you might wait till they rest and then start doing your movements to complement each other's like rhythm, right? The same as if they're like doing a complicated lift, if they're like lifting something above their head with nice and quick, you're not going to just walk in front of them, right? If they're standing in front of the dumbbell rack, looking in the mirror, and they're like right in front of something you need, then they should kind of just get out of your way, right? They're kind of being annoying. But if you're intentionally standing right in front of someone in the mirror, and they're in their own space, they're not anywhere near the rack, then that can be really annoying for them because they're trying to see the exercise they're doing and they're trying to make sure they've got the form correct and stuff like that. So just be a person, right? Just don't be like really close and creepy to people, and also try not to be in the way of people's vision and the exercises they're doing. So I have to say this anyway, even though I'm sure that none of you are being creepers. I know that none of you, all you guys love you, you're not going to be creepers, but just don't be a creeper, right? I know I mentioned before that I have got my resting face and I'm like staring at people across the gym. I'm really trying not to, but just like, don't be pervy, don't be creepy, like same as it goes in normal life. You know, I had to say it just because it is what it is. It can unfortunately be the case where people are intimidating people or making people feel uncomfortable or trying to bully people off equipment or being pervy or whatever. Let's try not to be those people. Let's definitely not be those people, and let's call it out if we see it, you know, report it to management, or just make a culture where that's not cool anymore so it doesn't happen anymore. So after you're done with equipment, you want to be putting your weights away fully and putting the equipment back not where you found it, where it belongs. So usually you should find it where it belongs, and if you know that it's not the right place, then you want to put it back where it belongs, not just where you found it. Putting your weights away, obviously like common courtesy so that the gym's nice and tidy. Think about it from this perspective. When you're looking for things, you want to find them where you expect to find them, so you're not spending your whole workout chasing around. And also just consider people that aren't as strong as you, or people that have a disability. They might not be able to, or they might just have extra hassle by trying to move things that are too heavy for them or that are uncomfortable for them. You know, think about if your nan was going to the gym, would she be able to lift that 25 kilo plate that you've left on the leg press? Would she be able to lift that like 100 kilos that you've just left on the leg press? I'm sure you wouldn't be doing that, but just as a little reminder, we've all got to keep the gym nice and tidy so that everybody can use it. Likewise with cleanliness, right? If you've been sweating on equipment, or even just anyway, it's good to wipe down equipment with a spray and a towel that the gym should provide you so that it's nice and clean for the next person. So in terms of dress codes, in general, it's really just what you feel comfortable in, right? So the most important thing is that you feel confident and you feel comfortable with whatever you're wearing in the gym. Shoes are probably the only thing that's like essential, so you want to be wearing trainers, sporty or athletic shoes, like shoes that are, like, you're not going to be wearing sandals to the gym where your toes are out and you're kind of like, not so much that you're going to drop things on them, but you don't want to be running on the treadmill with flip-flops, okay? It's just a safety hazard. It kind of looks weird, and it's not actually the right footwear to work out in. Some gyms will have rules against being barefoot, some gyms that will be fine, some gyms will be fine with socks, some gyms won't. So just look into that in the rules. And then in terms of actual like sports kit, sports wear, so some gyms will be fine with you wearing like a sports bra without a top. Like in my gym, the one I work at, anything goes from sports bra to hijab and fully clothed, like to whatever the individual wants to wear is totally fine. Almost every gym won't let you be completely bare-chested as a guy or a girl, unless you're in like a private facility where guys can kind of go shirtless. That's not a safe option anyway, especially if you're doing like barbell work, because bar's just going to slide off your back. Again, even with a sports bra, if you're really sweaty, doing like back squats and stuff with a bar on your back and it's likely to slide off is not the best idea. You want to be wearing like a cotton t-shirt where there's actually some catch and the bar is going to hold on there. So essentially the gym should let you wear whatever you want to wear as long as you're respecting like their community guidelines. Same as you would in public, right? Just wear what you're comfortable in, wear what you can work out in, what lets you move freely, and yeah, whatever you feel best in. One thing I would mention if you are looking for guidance on this, like you don't have an idea of what you want to wear, is just think about the kind of silhouette that you normally wear. You know, you want to be wearing like trousers or leggings or shorts, not like a skirt or something like that, unless it's like a tennis skirt which has shorts inside. Then you want to be wearing socks, which might sound like obvious, but it's definitely a good thing to have so that your shoes don't chafe on you. You want to consider temperature of the gym, right? So consider the time of year and consider like you as a person. Do you like to be warm or cold? So I noticed in our gym it's very air conditioned, but it is winter, so I like to wear some shorts to work out in, but I did realise that this time of year I was kind of having cold legs for the whole workout and I was feeling a bit more like I was going to pull a muscle, so I actually would prefer to wear leggings next time. and I'll consider this if I'm in like a cold garage gym, then I'd wear jumpers and maybe a jacket, but a lot of the commercial gyms you'll be able to wear like t-shirt and leggings, or t-shirt and shorts, or sports bra and leggings, or whatever that works for you. Just consider that temperature and time of year. Then you just want to make sure that you have like supportive clothing, so you know, guys might need different underwear, girls might need different bras. None of that should be like a barrier for you participating, so none of that should be like getting in your way. Just might mean that you're more comfortable if you have something that feels more supportive, depending on what is important to you. Just one thing, like generally jeans are sort of a no-go for exercise, and I think this is just because they get really heavy when you sweat, and they are, you can't move around in them very easily, so you definitely want to be going with something that has a bit of give, like a tracksuit, like I said, like a legging, a shorts, or yeah, sports clothes that you've used in the past, or maybe get yourself a cute little outfit, gym set that you feel nice and comfortable in. As you get more advanced or more experienced, you might find that you have certain things that you prefer wearing on certain days. So I know I got some leggings that I love for lifting, but when I run they fall down. Not completely. they're traveling down. I'm not a fan of this, and spend my whole time like pulling them up, right? And then there's some bras that I'll wear for some lifting, but then I'll find that if they have a zip right here, they're no good for front rack stuff like Olympic lifts, because they just squish on my throat here and it's not comfortable. So turn up, see how you go, and you'll learn what you want over time. I know a lot of the girls that in my gym, they'll maybe wear like leggings and then they'll make like a baggy t-shirt down to like mid-thigh, and they feel really kind of confident in that. It allows them to move, they feel kind of like it looks cute, and they feel adequately covered for what they want. Okay, let's talk about people again. Let's talk about arrogant people. I think they exist. I think there's a few of them, but I think generally in the gym you want to assume that most people are nervous just like you. Maybe you're not nervous, maybe you're not. Great, okay, if you're not nervous, that's amazing. But if you are nervous, I would look around the gym and expect other people to be nervous. Expect the reason why they're so awkward is because they're also looking at you thinking like, oh my god, I don't want to talk to them because and they are feeling, yeah, just as maybe insecure, maybe they are just learning, maybe it's their first day just like you, or maybe they're not super social, or maybe they don't want to talk to you, or they're just getting on with their own thing. So while there are arrogant people and people that are kind of, let's say they put themselves more centrally to importance, they think they're more important, there's not many of them, and most of the people you're going to come across are just like you, and they're just trying to get on with their workout. So just a few more little things, then it's I sort of want to talk about doing the right things in the right places. So there will be areas in most gyms to stretch, or areas to lift weights with barbells, or areas where you walk through the gym, and areas where there's machines. So generally speaking, like where you find the equipment is where you're going to use it. If you're stretching like in the middle of where the people are walking, or you like bring dumbbells into the change room, like we have had that happen where a guy wanted to make a TikTok, so he brought the dumbbells into the change room to take some selfies or make a video or something. Yeah, also don't take photos in the change room because there will be butts. I've seen the butts not in detail, but yeah, don't be taking photos in the change rooms where people getting changed. This is weird. But back to what I was saying anyway. If you are using an area or using a piece of equipment, try and keep it where you found it, because that's going to be the area where it's normal for people to do those kind of things, right? So there's also something to using equipment for how it's meant to be used. So different gyms are going to have different rules again, but there's certain weights which you drop on the floor and there's certain ones that you don't. So like dumbbells are not designed really to be dropped on the floor. They're designed to be placed down gently, whereas you get these big bumper plates, they tend to be like all different colours, which you put on the bar, and these tend to be found in like CrossFit gyms, or you might find them near the deadlift areas for in bigger commercial gyms. These tend to be okay to drop. Doesn't mean you should be dropping them as much as you can, like throwing them on the floor, but that's going to tend to be a bit more acceptable than dropping the ones that aren't designed for that. Again, if you don't know what this is or it isn't, you can ask a member of staff, or you can look up on the gym's etiquette online or on the wall. So none of this is like final, and like, you know, you're not going to get in like massive trouble if you don't abide by these rules. It's just kind of common community etiquette to keep everything running smoothly and to keep everyone happy in the gym. Likewise, like I said earlier, with using chalk or not using chalk, just depends on the gym, but generally like obnoxious behaviour where you're making a massive mess and people have to clean up after you is not going to be that popular. If you're being discreet about things and you're just kind of keeping to your own thing and cleaning up after yourself, you're going to be totally fine, right? So I hope that covered some of the things that you might be wondering about. If you have any more questions, if there's anything I missed, or if you're someone that goes to the gym quite a lot and you have extra things to help people out with in the comments, let us know, write it down, any questions, add it in the comments too. I just hope that helps you feel a bit more secure and like you're not walking into somewhere completely unknown and you're not feeling like you really don't know what you're doing. I think you'll be absolutely fine, and I will see you on the next video.